Welcome to the Kindness Project, the podcast designed to share stories of kindness and share how kindness can make positive change in our world, one small act at a time.
This week on the Kindness Project, we talk about ice cream, ninjas, and we have part one of our interview with Robert Peterpaul from the Art of Kindness podcast.
Welcome, my friends, to the first Kindness Project of 2022. It's take two to get that one right. I'm joined by a girl who is currently eating a cookie and a man who is obsessed with ninjas. It's Russell and Charlotte Dames. How are we doing, chaps?
Not bad, yo.
We're joined by a man who keeps pinching my food.
Well, look, if biscuits are in the kitchen, they're communal, aren't they?
I'm not allowed food in my bedroom.
No, you're not. You're not allowed food in the bedroom. I don't want to call you a domestic on the first podcast of 2022, but having food in your bedroom isn't healthy, is it? Clearly. Do you have food in your bedroom, Russ?
I don't eat in the bedroom, no, but
Exactly.
why is it you don't eat in the bedroom?
What do you mean?
That you're not allowed food in the bedroom, why?
Because Charlotte has a tendency to hoard food in the bedroom. She's got like a little, cubby holes of
Like
food.
she's removing bricks out of the wall and shoving chocolate bars.
That's exactly what she's doing.
My bedroom doesn't have bricks. It's papers.
Yeah, but she's got this piece of wallpaper. She lifts up, pulls a brick out, and there's like a hoard in there.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like she's ever going to run out of food in this house for us. Let's be honest.
No,
there was nothing nice in this morning. No bagels.
Oh God.
No milk.
You know what I mean? When we were kids, Russ. When we were kids, I remember when I was a kid, right, getting told once I didn't finish my dinner. And it was Mum's mate who turned around to me and went, "There are children in Ethiopia starving, and why are you not eating that?"
Well,
give me a massive guilt trip.
We didn't eat our dinner at home. Daddy used to make us sit there until we did eat it. Yeah.
Exactly. Just moaning about food in this house is just like, particularly straight after Christmas. We're a podcast about kindness and gratitude. How about having some gratitude?
I was just checking my biscuit for blueberries.
Let me just clarify. Did you buy the biscuits or?
They were a gift for me.
Then they should be yours. Why are you eating them?
Exactly. I ate my Reese's. Those were a gift as well.
Unbelievable. You didn't say that.
All right, fair enough. All right, maybe I should eat the biscuits. Oh, nice though. How was so you were saying, Russ, that you got loads of ninjas for Christmas? Yeah, where you keeping your ninjas?
I got me ninja ice cream makeup Christmas.
You've got a man.
You got a man who makes ice cream. You got a ninja who makes ice cream.
I did. I really do. So I had a compressor ice cream machine that freezes it as it makes it.
Right.
But it's a big old thing, so I wanted something a bit smaller. Anyway, I seen the ninja one come up, so I thought I'd have that. Only 200 notes.
So did you buy it for yourself?
Yeah. No.
Does that count as a present or not?
Well, it's a present to myself. I'd had
Be good to yourself, Russ. Why not?
I'd had a good year. I made plenty of money, so I decided to buy myself.
Who's rolling in it?
I'm not rolling in it, but I'm doing well.
I mean, you know what, right? If you're going to buy anything when you're rolling in it, buy a bunch of ninjas. I mean, I would. Just having a bunch of ninjas just around at your beck and call.
You go travelling in Europe, I buy ninjas.
Exactly. What I'd like to do is go travelling in Europe with ninjas. That'd be amazing, wouldn't it?
That'd be quite cool.
If the European train trip we're going on later in the year was
later in the year,
accompanied by ninjas, that'd be amazing. They can pay their own fare though. I'm not paying for ninjas.
Is that for your own protection or
what? We're taking the ninjas.
Or
to protect me from Charlotte, I think.
Yeah.
When she
when you're stealing all her presents.
Well, the fact that I'm paying for a train trip might allow me to have one biscuit. Eh? What do you reckon? That's a no. Anyway, Anyway, let's talk about ice cream for a minute. What ice cream have you made with your Ninja?
Well, let me tell you.
Oh, he's excited about his ice cream.
Let me tell you, I've got a nurse that comes in fortnightly. So.
Got a Ninja and a nurse? Really?
Hold on. She's a vegan.
Is the nurse a ninja?
No.
Can you get a ninja nurse? Because that'd be even better.
No, I don't think they do them, but she's a vegan nurse.
Well, they make ninja nurse.
No, she's a vegan nurse, so I've made some vegan ice cream.
All right.
So I made peppermint chocolate chip.
Right.
Oh, that would was fine as hell.
You have to make the vegan stuff with coconut milk.
Okay.
So yeah, I made that, and I made her a vanilla chocolate chip.
Nice.
And
what's the flavour like with the vegan stuff with the coconut milk? 'Cause I like coconut milk.
I didn't try it. So
the only thing about coconut milk when I've had it with like coffee or used it in other stuff is it is when it is thin, isn't it? It's thin compared to the.
It came out quite creamy, so it looked quite creamy. So hopefully, touch wood, it was all right. Cool. And other than that, I've made brownie ice cream with brownie
ice cream.
Yeah, with brownie bits in.
Oh, brownie. Could you make a brandy ice cream?
Rocky Road ice cream.
Okay.
So we've tried a few in the recipe book.
Have you made any alcohol ice creams yet?
I haven't.
Bailey's ice cream would be amazing, wouldn't it?
You get to make an espresso martini.
Oh yes. Russ. I'm getting excited now. I'm getting excited. Could you do me an espresso martini ice cream?
I couldn't send you ice cream, could I? Because it melted before it got there.
I'd come and get it. I'd come down there with a cold box.
Oddly enough, I'm down on the 28th, so I might bring you a tub of espresso martini ice cream.
Amazing, we're doing that. Loving that. What ice cream flavour would you like Russell to make you?
Vanilla.
Vanilla? What a waste!
And I'll make you a vanilla.
He can do any ice cream in the world. You can do any ice cream in the world, and you're going for a vanilla.
Yeah, it does loads of stuff. Sorbets, it does.
You want a sorbet?
I'm good, thanks.
Can I have a ninja ice cream?
No. Can't put ninjas in ice cream.
Can I have a vegan?
Vegan?
What's the vegan? Can I have a... Russ is frozen. Is he still there? Russ?
There was a breakdown in communication there.
You froze mid-eyebrow scratch.
I did.
I don't know what happened there. It looked like you were just like having a really intense moment. Anyway, welcome, guys. Listen, unofficial question of the podcast. What ice cream flavour would you like Russ to make you? It will send it anywhere in the world. We've got listeners all over the shop. We will send it anywhere in the world.
Tell me that's free shipping, isn't it?
No, they've got to pay for their own shipping. But if there's a niche ice cream flavour, that should have been the question of the podcast, shouldn't it? We can do it next week. But the niche ice cream flavour you'd like from Russ would be amazing.
Or what is the most awkward position you've ever frozen on in a Super Bowl?
Yeah, what, an eyebrow scratch? That'd be good.
I'm glad I didn't freeze when I come in topless.
Yeah, we don't talk about Russ. No. Russ, have you seen Encanto yet?
No.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. We're a bit obsessed now. It's a new Disney film with the music. Disney, we're not sponsored, but if you want to come knocking, we're happy. We don't talk about Disney, no, unless they give the dollars. No, it's an amazing Disney film. Lin-Manuel Miranda does the music.
I've seen it advertised.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So give that a go.
I'm waiting for his other one, the one about the immigrants to come on.
In the Heights?
In the Heights.
Yeah, we've seen it. It was out in the pictures ages ago.
No, I'm waiting for it to come on the telly. I don't go to pictures.
It's amazing. It is very, very, very good. But the soundtrack is available on Spotify.
We're not sponsored by Spotify.
We're not sponsored by Spotify, but if
we're
Spotify,
not sponsored.
you want to come knocking, we'll have a chat. But yeah, we absolutely love a bit. But the musical, you can tell when Lin-Manuel Miranda's doing the music because it sounds like Lin-Manuel Miranda. It's just brilliant. So anyway, on that note, let's talk about apparently I had to sniff some sea. On that note, is that a Ninja product or not?
No.
What a case sniffer, you know.
Sorry, just out of interest, Ninja, are they come knocking?
Ninja don't make taste.
Ninja don't make tea, but they do make products that you quite actively use.
They have got a coffee machine. I can't lay my hands on for love nor money.
Oh, you know what I got, Russ?
I've tried to buy it.
Coffee bean grinder.
Bean to cup.
Bean to cup. I mean, I'm drinking bean to cup at the minute. It's very good. Anyway, official question of the podcast, which should have been, what ice cream would you like to Russ to make and send to you? Espresso martinis.
What ice cream would you like Russ to rustle up?
Russ, you want to rustle up some ice cream? Are you rustling up? That is the name of your ice cream brand. Rustle up. Rustling up catering. You should call your business. He's just shaking his head now.
Would you invest? Because I need an ice cream, Ben.
Sorry, I'm broke.
Would I invest? Give me your pitch.
Do you want me to?
You took too long.
You're fired.
Right, give me your pitch. Go on.
No pitching.
All right, okay, I'm out. Right, anyway, the official question of the podcast. Oh, you blew your chance there, Russ. Yeah. The official question of the podcast is, what's your favourite family tradition? What family traditions do you absolutely love in your family? We've just had Christmas and New Year. A lot of the family traditions are around festive times, and you can answer that question of the podcast. We'll talk a bit more about family traditions next week, but you can answer the question of the podcast using the following electronic ways of communication.
On Facebook, we're The Kindness Project. If you search up in the search bar, it should come up. If you go onto Twitter, we're at Ola Kindness. If you go onto MySpace, while you're looking on MySpace, if you want the website, it's www.thekindnessproject.co.uk. The email is ola@thekindnessproject.co.uk. The Instagram is Ola Kindness, I think, but we don't really use it that much, so I guess giving the Instagram is kind of pointless. The only reason I mentioned it is because I was scrolling through my feed today and one of the posts popped up and I was like,
oh, is it? I mean, I don't check Instagram on the podcast, Raz.
You don't check any of them on the podcast.
True, you do. You're the man, Russ. But you might get too busy with your catering business now. Russell up catering. So, I better be careful with that. How much money do you need for Russell up catering, by the way?
I don't.
He's not doing it. He's doing it. And on that note, let's move on with the podcast
and some kindness news.
And talk about some kindness news.
We're gonna have to get Russell a T-shirt now that just says Russell Up.
Yes, we need a logo design for Russell Up Catering, Russell Up Ice Cream.
I'm still waiting for the potato you promised me.
Sorry?
I'm still waiting for the potato you promised me.
Well, are we going to send Russell a potato?
You can get it when you come up.
Yeah, we'll get you a potato when you come up. As long as you do me a potato ice cream.
No.
Weirdly, when we went to the Hay Literary Festival a few years ago, I had a brown bread ice cream that was weird, but I'm glad I had it.
All I'd have to do for potato ice cream is pop down Iceland and get a bag of that frozen mash.
Mash ice cream. Oh, God. Anyway, let's talk about kindness news. And our first news article today is about a donkey and is possibly my favourite headline of the year. Wonky Donkey gets prosthetic leg for Christmas. A Wonky Donkey born with a leg much weaker than its others is walking more comfortably after being given a prosthetic leg, a firm has said.
Tommy had always struggled to walk. As a result, his back and shoulder had become damaged. Ringwood-based prosthetics company Dorset Orthopedic made the animal an artificial leg, which is fitted to his weaker right front leg every morning.
An osteopath working with Tommy said he'd been amazed by his progress. Matt Hughes, managing director of Dorset Orthopedic, said Tommy was hobbling around before he was fitted with a prosthetic about a week ago. His walking looked very laboured because of his leg, although it was was not in a normal position. And he was standing and walking around. He was really drooping on his right-hand side and twisting his spine.
He's also being helped by an osteopath and a farrier to become as balanced and as level as possible.
Now, farriers are the guys who make horseshoes, aren't they? Do you know? Yeah, Russ is nodding.
I know what an osteopath is.
Osteopath Tony Nevin said he'd been amazed by Tommy's fantastic progress. Normally, healthy donkeys put 60% of their body weight through their legs. Tommy was nearly putting all of that 60% through the left healthy front leg, and that leg was going to fail. So the fact that they've put this sort of right leg, this fake right leg, has really supported him making sure that he could continue to walk. He said it was essential that Tommy was helping spread his weight more evenly. It was either that or he wouldn't be able to move. And I love the fact that we're in a position where we can do amazing stuff with prosthetics now, so that people can and animals can live.
What was that?
What?
Prosthetics.
Prosthetics, yeah.
Prosthetics.
What did I say? Prosthetics.
You should prophetics.
It was prophetic. The next article we've got is heartwarming annual pen pal relationship with Santa began with a gift when she got a gift for him from Burning Man. This blog, this is from, just by the way, one of the websites we use for our articles is the Good News Network. Other Good News websites are available, but this one is particularly good. And this is a story written by one of the readers, Roxanne Burstow, and just is an article that talks about kindness and positivity.
Back in 2017, I met with Santa's doppelganger at the Burning Man event, which used to take place every September pre-COVID. He was giving out gifts from his large sack at the impromptu jazz cafe. We had a lovely chat, but did not exchange contact details. The next year, I bumped into the same man again at Burning Man. We recognised each other and he gave me a new gift. Out of the blue, he then brought out a saxophone and went up to the stage to play Santa Claus is Coming to Town with the band. This time I got his email address and waited several months until the night of Christmas Eve to write him, telling Santa what Christmas meant to me and how special his act of spreading joy was. He responded as Santa on Christmas Day, and this has been the start of a yearly tradition of letters exchanged. The next year, I surprised him prancing into the jazz cafe along with 13 of my friends dressed as reindeers. We came bearing gifts so that Santa would finally be the one receiving presents. In the last 2 years, we have not... What are you doing that for? In the last 2 years, we've not been able to meet during the pandemic, but the letter tradition has lived on. Our letters have been filled with nostalgia for better days, and their themes have followed the changing times. For instance, in 2020, Santa said he was working remotely, and his Christmas factory started producing hand sanitizer because the pandemic required him to wipe down the sleigh between house visits, dropping off gifts.
While the elves did not receive Christmas bonuses, Santa made sure there were no layoffs. While working from home, Santa was on the COVID-19 diet and worried he may not fit through chimneys. Meanwhile, I lamented the lack of children stroking his fur, as Rudolph lamented the lack of children stroking his fur, and wondered whether the light on my nose would be hidden behind a mask while making deliveries. Now that my nieces are old enough to write, they've joined in the letter tradition, expressing their own COVID-19 related concerns. It is these forays into imaginary worlds that allow us to go through collective hardships, and these light-hearted conversations and traditions are all the more meaningful in our socially isolated times. You know what I love about that? It's that art of just making human connection, isn't it? You know, I really, really like that. Though I engage in a nomadic lifestyle, I'm generally based in Barcelona, Spain. I'm hoping to reunite with Sandra in 2022. It's brought me so much joy to have a special pen pal over the years. And on the article, it gives examples of some of the letters. So give that a read. Definitely worth taking a look at. And certainly one of those things where, we've tried to maintain a human connection over the past couple of years, just by doing what we can. And I love the example of doing that. So well done, that lady, for maintaining that connection and making that guy's day. I really love it. On that note, let's get to our interview this week. Now,
who are we interviewing today?
Well, our interview was one you got involved with because it was our friend Robert Peterpaul. Now, Robert Peterpaul has not only got an amazing name because he's got 3 first names in one. He's got his own podcast. He's from the Art of Kindness podcast. He's a lovely guy. Certainly does loads of interviews for people, with people who are, actors, musicians, artists, and he's part of the Broadway podcast network. Mm-hmm. So he's based over on the East Coast of America. Check out Robert's podcast, but let's take a look at the first part of the interview. Hi, Robert. How are you?
Hi, I'm great. I'm so excited to talk to you guys today.
Well, great to talk to you. And can I just say, I'm excited because you're the only person I think I've ever met who's got 3 first names in their surname. I mean, that is amazing.
Well, listen, plus my middle name, so there's 4.
What's your middle name?
My middle name is Francis.
Robert Francis Peterpaul. Yeah.
There's 4.
Have you ever thought of rounding it off to 5 and just adding Steve at the end?
I did.
Middle?
I did get a confirmation name, so there might technically be 5. Robert Francis Thomas Peterpaul, which you got to say the whole thing. A lot of people only greet me by saying my full name.
Yeah, where is Peterpaul from? Where is that from? Sort of, because it's quite an unusual sort of name. I've not heard it before.
Yeah, it's actually from Italy. So it was Pietro Paolo, and then when my very, long back relatives came through Ellis Island, they Americanized it.
Sure.
And as America tends to do, they they boiled it down a little bit. And so now it's just Peterpaul.
Yeah. So if you've got your Italian relatives have got this, frankly, more attractive sounding name. I mean, I like the Italian.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good.
So it's kind of strange because my brother, when he was little, he was in a camp, and one of his camp counselors was, a young girl, maybe in high school, and my brother was, I don't know, 10, pretty young. He had a crush on her. He was like, "You're my favorite counselor." He would come home, he would talk about her, and my parents would ask questions. It turns out her name, well, I won't say her full name, but her last name was Pietro Paolo. And my dad was thinking to himself, "Oh, wow, that could be one of our relatives."
Related.
It turns out we are. It was like a distant relative.
Yeah, Pietro. And your brother didn't pick up the similarity, no?
No, that's how we found out. Our true last name was Pietro Paolo.
Gotcha.
What a way to find out. Yeah.
No, that is a good way to find out. And how long? So, did your mum and dad come over, or was it sort of further back than that?
I believe it was my grandparents.
Yep.
Grandparents. So maybe 2 generations after my grandparents. Yeah.
Okay, great.
I think. Yeah.
Great.
That's an easier way to put it, right?
Great. I said great listening to Robert, and I've realised I've just muddied the waters by using the word great.
No, I think it's awesome. I said it in such a weird way. I was like, my grandma and 2 grandmas back. You're like, that's actually your great.
That's great grandparents, I think, isn't it? Is it great
grandparents?
I think it's great. And how much of your, how much of the Italian traditions do you still maintain in your family? Do you still feel the connection or not?
Well, it's interesting you ask this time of year because Christmas Eve is a huge thing in our family, and it's a really big thing in the Italian culture. So we do the 7 fishes. That's our big Italian tradition. Where you have 7 different fishes on Christmas Eve dinner. So if you don't like fish, you're kind of out of luck. And that's, I would say, our biggest thing.
So what are the 7 fishes then?
I don't know if there are 7 specific fishes you're supposed to have, but we just make sure we have 7 fishes at the dinner table. It can be
Gotcha.
in a pasta, fried shrimp, whatever it is. A seafood
Amazing.
salad is a way to cheat because you can have, 5 in there alone. And yeah, that's a fun way. But growing up,
7 fishes. That's a great tradition.
Yeah, it's kind of fun.
Yeah. The problem is now, Robert, I'm just thinking about what fishes you could have. And I'm going all the way from like wow, all the way down to goldfish and thinking about what ones I'd want to include. Probably more in the middle, like haddock and tuna.
I was thinking of that conversation we had about the bird and the bird and the bird and the bird.
Yeah,
having it fish.
Well, and I don't know whether they have this in America, but
okay.
One of the traditions that's been more popular over probably the last 10 years in the UK recently. Do you have a bird in a bird in a bird in a bird? Have you ever had that?
Like what do they call it?
You might have a roast
turducken, like a turkey with a a chicken. I think that's the farthest we've got.
3 times over. So
yeah, I don't think we've gotten to the 3 yet.
And we had a conversation. I think it might have been. I don't know. Russell can tell us what episode it is, but it might have been. Could they do a fish and a fish and a fish and a fish in a similar sort of concept? And 7 fishes might be a bit of a challenge, right?
I can start like really small.
Yeah. I mean, does it have to be the full thing? Because if you do sort of like a fish stuffing and put it in a little fish and then put that little fish in a bigger fish, it's kind of those little like babushka things where you open it up and there's more little people inside.
Yeah, the little Russian dolls. Yeah,
yes, the Russian doll.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah. See, this is the thing as well, isn't it? Babushka's a better name, Like Russian doll is just like sort of just what it is. Babushka, we love babushka.
Listen, I have weird terms. I don't even know if it's an American thing. I just say weird words, so don't count on me.
We do exactly.
Yeah, don't worry. We've got plenty as well. So. Thank you for coming on the podcast. We really appreciate it. Let's start by just telling us a little bit about you.
Sure. Well, thank you for having me. I've been loving listening to your show, so I'm really excited to be here and hear you guys talking live is really cool.
Does it make more sense in the podcast, Robert? Probably not, right?
I won't comment on that. No, it's awesome. It's always a good time and very positive, which is what I'm about too. So I recently started my own podcast, The Art of Kindness. We're very similar in that way. I'm an actor, writer, producer, all around just kind of creative, strange person. I grew up here in New Jersey in the United States. And now I'm in Connecticut, but along the way, I've acted on stages and screens and done various things within the arts community. One of my day jobs has always been writing entertainment news. Actually, you guys might know this, but I think it has a different reputation over in the UK, which we don't have to get into. But one of the websites I used to be an editor for was Hola and Hello. So like Hello Magazine.
Okay.
It was much more positive in the US, and I think over there it's more of a tabloid, maybe.
Yeah, it's more of a gossip rag.
Yes. So we never did any.
It's actually not a bad magazine, is it?
Okay.
It's more gossip focused.
It's interesting though. They have a very strong. I don't know how much I can say, but a strong connection with the royal family. So if it's still tabloidy, I don't know what's going on there. Maybe they're just trying to get ahead of it. But
yeah, I think. Well, what's interesting. I think. And again, you can probably give us more of an insight, but my personal perspective on the royal family is actually people in other countries are far more interested in the royal family than people that live in the UK. I mean, again, this is a personal perspective, but the royal family are great. They do a great job. They attract attention and tourism and stuff like that. And actually giving some of our taxes to them is all good. I'm quite happy that they exist, but they don't have a massive impact. I don't think about the royal family a lot. Yeah.
I probably think about the royal family twice a year.
Yeah.
So today's the first time.
That's a really specific definition. How often? Every 6 months, she thinks of the royal family.
On a Tuesday at 6 p.m.
Yeah.
I'm penciled in.
Last time I thought about them was October the 12th.
I was busy October 12th. It wouldn't have been there.
Sorry.
Yeah.
October 13th.
That's a busy day.
But the weird thing about it is that element where you go, are Americans like is part of your perception of the UK that the royal family is a big thing? Do you think?
Yeah, Yeah, it might be that mystique, because we don't live there, and they're sort of, for better or worse, the representation of you guys that we see.
Yeah.
And we all have that fascination with celebrities and public figures. So they're people that we love to follow. And I think because they still maintain this intense tradition that a lot of, monarchs, still do. But it's just so interesting to follow them in that right. So I used to love writing about them. I mean, I had a ton of fun doing that research and seeing what the Queen was up to. And those stories always did really well. But what I was always dismayed to see is that we used to have this this analytics checker where you could see which headline people would click. It's called A/B testing. I don't know if you've heard of that. Yeah, so we could put in one headline and then another headline and see which one did better, basically. And a lot of the times, those really salacious negative headlines would do better, and people would change it to that. And I'm thinking, I don't want my headline to be that way.
Yeah.
But on the opposite end, sorry.
Good. I mean, that's the challenge, isn't it? When you want to, and I'm probably guilty of this, you click on negative stuff.
Yeah.
Because it does make you curious, even though actually for your mental health, it's probably not the best article to read, right?
No, definitely not.
It's really interesting.
I think I actually looked into that. Like, the more negative news you read, the more likely you are to, gonna say it right the first time, catastrophize. There we go. Yeah. And blow things out of proportion. So it's like reading the negative news headlines, although they're more popular, is actually really bad for our mental health.
It'd be interesting to get your perspective on this, Robert. But part of the challenge is that actually doesn't reflect a realistic worldview because there's a really good book that I read a couple of weeks ago called Humankind that talks about actually most people are generally good and society reflects that, but news doesn't, does it?
I'm gonna have to read that. Well, on the opposite end, that the stories that also do really well, it's like either end of the spectrum are, so and so gave birth to a healthy baby. See the first photo. This person just had a lavish wedding. So people do like to see that stuff too, and that was one of the reasons. And I'm sure you guys might have a similar, maybe not so similar, but origin for starting the podcast is that I wanted to put something out there that was focused on entertainment, but it was positive.
100%. That was our inspiration. I was so sick of seeing negative news. I wanted to put something positive out there. It's been an interesting journey. So talk to me a little bit about the podcast. How you started it. How's it going, and what's the future look like for you?
Sure. And, I might be going down some tangents and rabbit holes, but I know you guys will follow me. So that was kind of the reason why I started the podcast, was to put something positive out into the world. And this was deep in the pandemic.
Sorry, Robert, just one point. What made you think we're going to go down tangents and rabbit holes? We were rabbit hose. That's not the right word.
Oh, wow. That's a different podcast. Exit Zoom.
I mean, clear. I mean, Robert knows that we have a tangent because he's been listening to the podcast. He knows that we try to focus on one particular subject. It's just not our bag, is it? So tell us about the podcast.
Listen, I put a GPS address in my car, and then I end up on all these different back roads. That's my metaphor for the way I talk. So on my podcast, I'm always going down these tangents. That's why I need the question guide to look at to keep me on track. But this was deep in the pandemic when we were first all locked down. I feel like news was more negative than ever because we had that initial wave. I think you did probably ahead of us. You were a bit ahead of us in experiencing the pandemic over in the UK, but there was that initial wave of we're all in this together and it's awesome and we love each other, and then it just plummeted down and it was every day the death toll, and then this person's getting canceled and this is happening and the pandemic's going to get worse. So it was just, we all, I think, developed some level of depression. It was like you're saying, our brains were being trained to think a little bit more negatively, and I was trying to think how I could help. And I was debating leaving, as we were just talking about hello and hola. I finally did. And then in the middle of the night, I just woke up and I thought, The Art of Kindness, that's a cool name. And I could just do celebrity interviews because I love doing that. And we could focus on kindness in the arts because there are so many people in the arts that are using their platform and creativity
to do good stuff.
Make the world a better place. So it literally just I don't know about you guys, but my ideas come to me in the middle of the night. They'll wake me up. And so I have to keep a notebook next to my bed. Because if I don't, I'll wake up the next day and think, that was a great movie idea. Why didn't I write that down? Honestly, and it sometimes they're just gibberish and they don't even make any sense at all. But that was one that came to me in the middle of the night. So yeah, I had no idea how to start a podcast. I think a lot of us podcasters, your first thing is you Google, how do I start a podcast?
Yeah.
And I had a few friends that have done them, so I picked their brain, and then I just kind of dove in. And don't you feel like you just learn as you go when you're making a podcast?
Definitely. I mean, when we first started, I was an avid podcast listener, but I didn't have the first idea about how to do it. To be fair, Robert, we've got an amazing producer Russ, who does a lot of the work in terms of getting it edited, getting it out there, and doing all of that sort of stuff. So
that's awesome.
Effectively, we just turn up now and have a chat.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Oh,
but in the early days, it was just getting our heads around, how do we do this, and how do we get it out? And what inspired you? I suppose the big question for me is that element of artists using their platform for kindness. Do you think art gives you a unique perspective on kindness, particularly actors and writers and musicians? Do you think that informs people's worldviews?
I do, yeah, and I'll answer in a very circuitous way. That's my word of the day.
Oh, I love it. Have you've got one of those word of the day calendars, haven't you? Is that it's circuitous come up?
I do get emails. I know. I just love that word because I'm such a word nerd.
Sign up for a word of the day email and just like try and slip it into conversation. The problem is nobody else would know, would they? Do you know what I mean? It'd be like me just going, yeah, that's perplexing. And just being personally satisfied, but just
that's what it's all about, just like personal satisfaction. And if you can confuse a few people along the way, ultimate goal achieved.
If you can perplex a few people along
yes,
the
you can
way,
have a little giggle.
Yeah. I love seeing people's faces confused. It's just.
I mean,
really
what is the? I mean, as you know, Robert, because you listen to the podcast, but we ask the question of our listeners every week, and we get loads of amazing answers. But what's your favourite word at the minute? What's the one that you?
I don't know. You've asked me a very perplexing question.
now the word's going to be perplexing. How about you, Robert? What's your favourite word?
Well, that's why I slipped in the word circuitous. I know you guys love words too.
Yeah,
I think it just fits my vibe. But maybe we could do this on both of our podcasts. We could just pick a word and then have listeners listen for the word, and when it pops in, the word will say.
Collaboration.
We love that. We're doing that. You will get an email after this.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
We're doing that.
Word randomization.
We're including that on the podcast. Charlotte's Googling it as we speak.
Okay, cool.
So talk to me about a unique perspective you think artists have got. Tell me a bit about that.
Yeah, so on my show, one of the first questions I ask people is, what does kindness mean to you? And I've been getting so many different answers, but at the root of it, I think is love. Kindness is love. And I think art is love, because if you're an artist and you're one of the lucky few, actors, for instance, in my union, SAG-AFTRA, there are 2% of people. 2% of the pool of actors are actually working. So if you're one of the lucky few that gets to work and make art and put it out there, it's usually because you're very passionate and you have a unique perspective. And so I think that is boiled down to love as well. I've always felt the arts give so much back to people, and they not only reflect society, but sometimes project the future and can help guide things. And, when we were in the pandemic, the first thing I saw on my television were all these international concerts with famous singers and celebrities lending their hand and their personality. So I think that's why I wanted to have them talk about kindness, because they're going to be the biggest draw. And while I want to start integrating my friends that are aspiring artists onto the show, I love that these people can come in, they have sort of a built-in audience, and they're going to get listeners to tune in and actually think about kindness and the tips that we're giving.
I think you're right. I think when you've got a platform that you can use for virtually anything, choosing to use it for positivity and kindness is an incredible choice, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, a lot of people can choose it to be self-serving, and we talk a lot about this on the show, which is the difference between being kind and being nice. And so people can appear to be nice, so they just progress their career. But I really love the artists that tend to, I don't know if they have a plan, but they tend to build their whole career around a certain issue. You know, like Bono, he started Red, which is, I think they're doing another concert right now, just to name a random person. And yeah, I think it's really special when you choose to dedicate, you know, they talk about toxic positivity, but when you choose to focus on the positivity, especially in the entertainment industry where we are, like I said, seeing so many people being canceled right now. I think I don't know, the only way, and as you guys have these kind conversations too, the only way to move forward and try and make it better is by talking about it. And a lot of platforms don't talk about it. They'll sit down with these artists and they'll say, oh, so did you actually date someone? Oh, we got a dog cameo.
There's a dog. Dexter wants to get involved in the podcast.
I love this.
I tell you what, our dog is an amazing dog. I've just got to tell you about our dog.
What kind of dog?
What's wrong with it?
Okay, so he's part Cocker Spaniel, but with Dexter. He's part Cocker Spaniel.
What if I could guess by the bark? I'm like, ooh, that's
He's part Cocker Spaniel, but the other part we don't actually know because his mum was pregnant when they found her, and she was a stray, so we don't know who his dad is.
Yeah. All we know is he was probably noisy. But yeah, so
it's like a mystery box.
He is a amazing dog, but he's the most protected dog in the world. You know, because so if somebody approaches us while we're walking in the park or out the house, he's a barker. He's a barker.
Wow.
So apologies for that. So that was the first part of the interview. Next week we've got more from Robert. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And on that note, let's talk about the end of the show. So what do you normally do?
It's the end. Another podcast.
And the end's never really the end, because the end is always the element of the podcast where we answer last week's question of the podcast. And on that note, the last week we had I say the last week, but it was probably before Christmas now, wasn't it?
4 weeks ago.
It was 4 weeks ago we asked, what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given? And you did not disappoint with your answers. And we had a bunch. So Dunkirk said, wow, that's hard to pick just one. Steve Thompson said, don't eat yellow snow. Always a good one. Rose Elliott said, it's important to be, it's nice to be important, but it's important to be nice. Francis Barrett said, failing to prepare is preparing to fail. Richard Earl said, always be independent. Victoria Ellis said, I'm here with my friends and we've all come up with our own one. Amy said, you need to move around to move up. Chloe said, your parents aren't always right, but they will always love you. Jess said, you do you. And Vic's one is, everything happens for a reason, just ride the wave. I like all of them. John Cook said that life is a bell curve. Whatever things are going well or badly, always be aware that it will pass.
You've set him off.
So, what do you mean you've set him off? These two shall pass, yeah. Toby Atson said, get a mentor. Ian L said, don't buy a pub. I ignored it. Cost me a small fortune. Karina Murray said, make decisions about people you spend time with and make sure that they add value to your life. Al McCann said, save more. Steve Chilton said, always be yourself. Don't try and be someone you're not to please others. Rachel Meek said, be concerned but never worry. Joshua Cartwright said, if something is important to your wife, then it should be important to you, even if it isn't. Advice I should probably take. Brian Hill said, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Aisha said, treat others the way you want to be treated, and there are no free lunches. Kevin Hull said, always look people in the eyes to see if you feel they're honest. And Sarah still said, admit your mistakes. So loads of amazing advice there. Thank you for everybody for writing in and sharing your insights. That is the first podcast of 2022. I'll get the year right. Have a lovely week, and we'll see you next time on the podcast.